the quiet hush of the early Islamic era, when the desert sun still burned on the backs of the poor and the echo of injustice haunted the streets of Medina, there walked a man who needed no introduction. His name was known even in silence. Ali, the son of Abu Talib, a man whose footsteps matched the Prophet's, CWW, whose heart beat for the oppressed, whose soul had never bowed before an idol, and whose hands, even in prayer, never stopped giving. It was a time when the newly formed Muslim community was still defining itself. The Quran was being revealed, verse by verse, shaping minds, carving spirits, and uniting hearts. Yet within the folds of this community were remnants of inequality, tribal arrogance, and the silent sufferings of the needy. The call of Islam was clear. There is no superiority of an Arab over a non-Arab, nor of the white over the black. But in practice, the wounds of pre-Islamic ignorance still bled. In this climate, one act changed the course of history. A simple act, done not in war, not in debate, not on the pulpit, but in the silent stillness of Ruku, the sacred bowing in Salah. It was this moment that heaven could not ignore. And it was this moment that would become a beacon of divine endorsement, placing Ali ibn Abi Talib on a pedestal no other had ever touched. It was the hour of Dur. The sun stood high above the masjid. The companions of the Prophet, SAWW, had gathered in congregation, and in the front rows stood a man whose back had carried the banner of Islam from Badr to Kondak to Khaybar. Imam Ali A.S., calm, composed, and lost in the remembrance of his Lord. As the prayer began, a destitute man, a beggar, entered the mosque. His face was pale with hunger, his clothes torn, and his eyes searching for compassion. He walked past rows of believers, quietly asking if anyone could spare a ram, a coin, anything. But none responded until he reached the front. There, in the sacred position of Ruku, bowed before his creator, stood Ali S. And from his right hand, a ring glistened, just enough for the beggar to see. Without a word, without breaking his prayer, Imam Ali S. extended his finger ever so slightly, offering the ring to the beggar. The man hesitated. Was it real? Was he allowed? Then, trembling, he stepped forward and took the ring. The prayer continued. No one spoke, but the skies had already recorded the moment. The ink of destiny was already being written. No sooner had the prayer ended that the Prophet SAWW was approached by Jibreel, yes, the trusted messenger of Allah. His wings unfurled with the divine decree, and he recited the verse freshly revealed from the heavens. Your guardian, Wali, is only Allah, his messenger, and those who believe, those who establish prayer and give zakat while in Ruku. Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:55. The Prophet's, SAWW, blessed face lit with nur. He turned to his companions and, without hesitation, declared, this verse was revealed about Ali. The masjid was filled with silence, not of confusion, but of awe. Another verse, another title, another honor. The poor had found a helper. The Ummah had found its Wali. This wasn't just about a ring. It wasn't about wealth. It wasn't about charity alone. It was about Walaya, the divinely appointed guardianship over the believers. Allah did not say one of those who. He said, Inama Wali Yukum, only your Wali, not just a friend, not just a helper. A Wali, a guardian, a spiritual leader, a protector in divine authority. It was a verse that separated the chosen from the rest. A verse that echoed the declaration of Ghadir, where the Prophet, SAWW, had already said, Man kuntu maulau fa adza aliyun maulau. Whoever I am master of, Ali is his master. This verse was not a new chapter. It was a confirmation. The companions who witnessed the event had no doubt about whom the verse referred to. Scholars, both Shia and Sunni, would later narrate the incident with agreement. From Allama Zamakhshari to Fakhr al-Din al-Razi, even traditional Sunni exegeses couldn't ignore the clarity of the verse and the context. But more than the books, it was the hearts of the believers that felt the power of this moment. A man in prayer, still so connected to his Lord, could hear the cry of the oppressed. And without speaking a word, he offered all he had. This wasn't just a historical event. It was a divine principle, that the true wali of the people is the one who combines worship with service, submission with compassion, and humility with courage. Imam Ali, did not just give charity. He gave it in Ruku, a time when a soul is lost in divine awe. In that moment, he taught the Ummah. True worship isn't disconnection from the world. It's transforming every act, even prayer, into mercy for others. This act defined Islamic equality in its purest form, that whether rich or poor, leader or follower, black or white, what matters is the heart that gives, even in prostration. When Allah said in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 55, "Your wali is only Allah, His messenger, and those who believe, those who establish prayer and give zakat while in Ruku." He was not just describing friendship. He was revealing a divine authority. The word wali in Arabic comes from walaya, which means guardianship, leadership, and the intimate authority to guide and protect. This verse did not come in isolation. It was a heavenly stamp, echoing the words of the Prophet, SAW, at Qadir. Man kuntu maulau fa adza aliyun maulau. Whoever I am the Mawla, master/guardian of, Ali is his Mawla. The moment Imam Ali, A.S., gave his ring in Ruku was not simply a moment of charity. It was Allah's public declaration that Ali, A.S., is the spiritual inheritor of the Prophet's mission. Not as a prophet, but as the wali of the Ummah, as the man who would carry the flame of justice, the fountain of knowledge, and the sword of truth. Walaya is not just leadership, is light. In the words of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, A.S., Walaya of Ali ibn Abi Talib is written on the throne, Arsh. What does that mean? That means Walaya is not a political position. It is a spiritual axis. It is the compass that orients the soul toward Allah. Without Walaya, prayer is like a body without a heart. Islam is not complete unless you recognize the one appointed to lead after the Prophet, SAW. Just like Nubuwah was not elected, Walaya is also not elected. It is appointed by Allah. And who could deny that the man who gave away his ring in Ruku had already given away his entire life for Islam? Think deeply. The act of Imam Ali, A.S., giving his ring in Ruku was not a boast. It was not a public show. He did not stand and say, "Look what I did." He stayed bowed. He did not break his prayer. He gave while still in the state of complete khushu, humble submission. This shows the heart of true leadership in Islam. Selfless, silent, sincere. And yet, Allah did not let it pass unnoticed. He revealed a verse of the Quran in real time, while the Prophet, SAW, was still alive, while companions were still present, so no one could ever deny who was appointed as the wali of this ummah. From the earliest tafsir works, like Tafsir al-Kashaf by Zamakhshari, Sunni scholar, to Tafsir al-Dhalabi, to Tafsir al-Tabari, this incident is recorded. Sunni and Shia both narrated it. There is no dispute that Imam Ali, gave his ring in Ruku, and that the verse was revealed about him. But sadly, despite the verse, despite Qadir, despite the Prophet's, SAW, open declarations, the course of history took a different turn. Why? Because recognizing walaya means surrendering to a truth that does not bend to politics. And many could not let go of their pride, their tribal power, or their control. Walaya is the soul of faith. Imam al-Baqir, A.S., once said, Islam is built on 5 things: prayer, fasting, hajj, zakat, and walaya. Nothing was called upon like walaya was. Why? Because walaya is the rope that connects us to Allah. It is the identity of the believer. It is the bridge from Rasulullah, SAW, to the Imams, and from the Imams to us. And that is why Allah chose a moment of Ruku, a moment of submission, to reveal the identity of the one who was most submitted. Imam Ali, A.S., gave in that moment because he was not giving from his wealth. He was giving from his soul. The title of this script is The Sermon of Equality, because Imam Ali, A.S.'s ring in Ruku wasn't just an act of charity, It was a message from all of that. The one who deserves to lead is not the richest, not the most powerful, not the loudest, but the one who submits and gives while in submission. This is the true Islamic equality, where leadership is based not on bloodline, wealth, or politics, but on taqwa, ikhlas, and sacrifice. And who can be more equal than the poor beggar in the mosque receiving help from the very man whose name is on the banners of Badr and Khaybar?